What's up, ladies and germs? Welcome back to the Avarice Podcast. I'm Devin. Today's movie commentary is going to be on Ready to Rumble from 2000. I'm going to kind of nerd out on my vintage pro wrestling kick for a minute. Although this isn't the golden era, it's just past the golden era, which might be partially why it exists. WCW was fading at this point. WWE was becoming the number one spot, but this was kind of post the glory days of the Monday Night Wars, the insurgence of the NWO, all those great things. At this point, you really had WWE taking off with The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. The Big Show had gone over there. A lot of the talent had left. And WCW was always the one that was more willing to get themselves involved in kind of gimmicky, Hollywoody, kind of non-purist things, such as this film. And David Arquette's future involvement in the actual show, being on Nitro, eventually winning the title. I'm going to skip a lot of the pleasantries and just get down to business here. So I've already got a half cup of coffee here because I just recorded a commentary before this and I don't want to brew another one. I don't want to be wired all night. I got a bottle of water as backup. I've got my bowl loaded in front of me, double perk bong, and I'm ready to start the show. So I'm going to take a hit and then I'll give you a countdown to start the movie if you're going to watch along with me. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about the story, but I am going to probably go on a lot of tangents about all the various wrestlers that are in this and memories. I was really into pro wrestling in this era as well, but the 3 or 4 years prior to this, the Attitude Era, as it were, and those were truly the glory days, the golden age of pro wrestling, in my opinion. It was just must-see television. And so I don't see necessarily why this movie gets such a low scores. I think it's like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. It's par for the course, in my opinion, for a lot of comedies of the time. It's just a lot of goofy nonsense. The only difference being that it's based around the world of pro wrestling. And since so many people like pro wrestling, I would have thought it was an easy fit and that people would go see the movie and that they would like it and kind of take it for what it was as a novelty and not expect it to be a great film. And that's not what they got at all, but they were disappointed. I take it for what it is. I don't expect too much from it, so thus I enjoy it. Having said that, it's been many years since I've seen it, but I have fond memories of it. Maybe it's not going to hold up as well as I thought it was going to. I realized that was somewhat abrupt, but it was turning into a long preamble when I decided that wasn't what I was going to do. Okay, I've got my controller in my hand. You should do the same. I'm pressing play in 3, 2, 1. Play. Ready to Rumble from the year 2000. David Arquette and Scott Conn. Rose McGowan. I forgot his name. I will rule you. He's a great character actor. He plays ancillary roles in a shitload of movies. He's in Lake Placid, Chef. I can't think of his name. Anyway, Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, rest in peace. To me, this was awesome when I was a kid. So I was like 13 when this came out. And just loving pro wrestling. I couldn't wait to see all these wrestlers that I knew on a movie, and to me it made them seem more famous. And also it was curious how they were going to kind of skirt around the issues of the business, the fact that it's choreographed and how it all works, and showing matches and making it seem like they're actually fighting, that kind of thing. But I think it's also what a lot of people, a lot of purists hate about what wrestling has become. They liked when it was more believable and less about a spectacle. But the spectacle is what appeals to kids and sells. But these two are like your classic example of it's still real to me, damn it. Like, they think that every part of it is real. They think that every element of the backstory is real. They think Kane actually got burned when he was young. Kane's not in this movie. He's a WWE guy, but because it's choreographed, it can pay off in a way that real life never can. They can consistently manufacture the drama, build it up, and have a payoff exactly the way they want it to go down. And I think the one thing that wrestlers aren't credited enough for is their ability to improv, especially on the microphone. Back in those days, The Rock and Stone Cold and them on a mic, totally off the top of their head, they were fucking killers. It's acting on a live show, basically, every week. These guys are also losers, though. Maybe that's why a lot of pro wrestling fans hated it, because it made these guys look like fucking idiots. It made it look like wrestling fans are stupid, but a lot of them are, let's be honest. The ones who think that it's a real fight and all that shit, I knew at a very young age. It's like I could tell he just missed him when he tried to punch him.
What do you want? Purple sugar slush. King size.
David Arquette's perfect for this role, too. He's so zany. This is, of course, a daydream. There's a Macho Man cut out behind him. It's just so over the top. They're making fun of themselves. Maybe that's what people didn't... I don't know what people didn't appreciate about it. I think it's awesome in its goofiness. The mini Murray goes over here. Ooh, Macho Man, rest in peace. God damn, do you think he was on all the illegal supplements? He's like 50 years old there. Comes this actor wearing a bodysuit because he doesn't have the body to pull it off. He does a really good job of being a believable pro wrestler, honestly. And you need acting chops for the main character wrestler, the lead kind of wrestler. So it's a really good fit. I like the casting. Maybe the story could have been more interesting, but it was the perfect kind of wrestling feud promo, kind of hokey. You got the Nitro girls dancing up on the fucking counter. Oh my god, the Nitro girls. I had forgotten about them till just now. It's making me a little bit happy in pants. The Nitro girls. I think DDP married one. Slushies, Slurpees, whatever. Gordy, why does it look like your finger's in your butt? Because it is. I love this part. To me, when it comes to like mindless comedy movies, like Adam Sandler's a great example. There's a time and place to watch those, and this is great for those times. He's gonna take his finger out of his ass and hold the cup up and say it smells like shit. Now that's a hustle. Yeah, Yeah, like a bitter, sour ass. How did you drink that?
I will get you another one ASAP. Thanks. So bad. How could you drink that? I struggled too much with the blood sugar just kind of settled at the bottom.
David Arquette's so good at keeping a straight face and saying the most outlandish shit. Now his over-the-top father character, this is perfect. Your dad treats you like an idiot for liking wrestling. Scott Conn actually looks like he could be a wrestler, except for I think he's like 5'5". Just camera tricks that make him look normal sized. I mean, I'm 5'9" and I think I'm short. He's 4 inches shorter than I am. He's like smack dab in between my wife and I. Like a growth chart. Or those Russian dolls that fit inside each other. I haven't met a doll I could fit inside of. I've even tried the expensive ones. Just doesn't work. It's too big. Tie a knot in the end. Oh, thanks. See, I don't... The segment of wrestling fans that think it's real, those baffle me. Once you're past the age of like 8 or 10 and you're able to objectively observe that it's fake, or just logically, like, why is he just laying in this position and letting this happen to him? Why is this guy walking around the ring and strutting instead of continuing to fight? Little things like that. If you're an adult and you still think it's 100% real, I'm like, oh, okay. But you can acknowledge that it's choreographed, quote unquote fake, and still enjoy it as a product. For one, like I'm saying, back in the day, the verbal quips and the improv on the mic was great. They were pushing the envelope as far as, like, they were borderline R-rated. They were PG-13 for sure. They had half-naked girls. They were cussing. Stone Cold's drinking beer. They're executing great matches. You don't know what's going to happen, even though you know it's choreographed. They're still putting on a show for you. To me, I've met plenty of people who want to make fun of wrestling and wrestling fans, but love Rocky movies. Rocky's not a real boxer. Those boxing matches are way more fake than a wrestling match is. Like, it's a bit of hypocrisy to me. There's, of course, the homoerotic element of it. But clearly, like, when Mr. T fought Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 3, that was most certainly choreographed. The outcome was most certainly predetermined. Like, what's the difference? Other than they got several takes and, like, time to study, and they didn't have to do it on a weekly basis. They didn't even have to actually hit each other for the most part. You can use camera tricks and sound effects for that. Live, you have to make it look a lot more real. So I don't know how you can have the disrespect for somebody and tell them, like, you're a fake wrestler, and then tell Sylvester Stallone he's a good actor. Why not just tell the wrestlers they're good actors? If you're trying to be passive aggressive, do that. You're a great actor. Because it's kind of condescending, but also it's a compliment. He's trying to suck Scott Conn down the fucking porta potty. You guys could be doing a little bit better for yourselves, honestly. I mean, you're emptying porta potties for a living in tandem. This is a two-man job. And talking about pro wrestling all day. But when I was 13 years old, I was like, this is a fucking awesome life. I didn't want to clean porta potties all day, but I was like, just hang out with your buddy and be a pro wrestling fan and be so sweet. now I can't really follow it. They went the whole like PG route, made it real kid friendly, and they started writing all the promos for the wrestlers, and it's just not as interesting. Plus, the UFC came into prominence, and you can watch real fights, and it's hard to swallow all the pageantry. Like in a UFC fight, you never see somebody hit somebody and knock them down on the ground and then point at the crowd and start doing all this posturing and shit. The other guy just lays there, waits for him to walk over and try to pick him up, then he hits him with a low blow. Like, it's so contrived. It's not at all the way a realistic fight would play out. Like some chain wrestling, though, like some Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero shit. That is entertaining just like as ballet. It's actually way more entertaining than ballet. Hot tamale! Man, that girl at the window is plenty cute, and she's totally into wrestling. She walked up to the window to talk to you about wrestling. How do you not see this open window of opportunity? These guys really seem like 15-year-olds when it comes to maturity and social mores. If a girl goes out of her way to talk to you about something like pro wrestling, she is dying for you to lick the lips between her hips. What the fuck? There's just shit leaking out of there. Ugh. A wicked. A wicked. This isn't like the height of the "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets. So he made a "What Would King Do" bracelet. See, they think that Jimmy King is like, his persona on TV is a real person. Like he's a legitimate professional athlete. And the things that he says aren't for the purpose of putting on a show, but rather authentic to his character. His true character, not his fictional one. And that's where they're misguided, because they think it's 100% non-fiction. It's amazing that they survived the Attitude Era, to be honest, because there was some crazy shit going on TV back then. They were making it look like wrestlers caused other wrestlers to get in car crashes and get broken necks, and they were abducting people's wives. And if you thought that was real, you'd be calling the police. Of course, his family's got to be all on the same page, all career-minded and uptight, strict. Why can't you be more like us, you piece of shit? You just watching your fake wrestling, your little girly boys in their tights, smelling each other's butts, using their fingers as dipsticks, do oil checks. You want somebody touching your hiney, boy? Here we got an unmasked Rey Mysterio. Wow. And Juventud Guerrera. I'm going to be able to pull the names out on these ones, boys. This is right in my wheelhouse. Holy fuck. If you only have one nut, is it still your left one, or is it just the one? What the fuck? Somebody just lit a fucking mortar off, like, right outside my house. I might have to go kick some ass. That wasn't cool at all. Yeah, I know, Mary Jane. If we see it again, we might go fishing for teenagers. Fucking summer. It's the 7th of July. Motherfucker's been lighting off fireworks nightly for over a week now. That's one thing that drives me nuts about holidays. Everybody thinks that they need to take 3 days off before the holiday and 4 days off afterwards and make it this big week and a half long extravaganza and we're leaving early or we're closed because of this. Like, no, the purpose of the holiday is to give you the day off for the holiday, not make it this big extending thing. Anyway, we got DDP here, Goldberg, and we got Joey Pants playing what amounts to the Eric Bischoff character. At least that's my view on it. At least how fans viewed Bischoff at the time. This kind of weaselly, conniving, fucking backstabbing executive running the show. Oh, they seat hopped. I know that move. You look down, you'd be like, oh, those seats down there have been empty for 20 minutes. Let's go sit in them. Worst case scenario, they come back and we'll move. My grandpa and I have done that and made it all the way down to like the 15th row before at a baseball game. Just like, oh, we'll move down to those seats. Oh, those ones are open. Let's move down to those seats. The old lady from The Wedding Singer. Bam Bam Bigelow. Sid Vicious, a.k.a. Sid Justice, a.k.a. Psycho Sid. I think both of them are dead. It's a lot of wrestlers have died. All that damage to their body. Booze, alcohol, pain pills, sleeping pills, uppers, downers, all arounders. Wear and tear. Lack of sleep, all of the above. This arena looks really small compared to what they would have actually been in. This looks like a WCW Saturday Night or something. Looks like it's shot in Universal. It is. I think this is the arena that they used for the Universal Studios Saturday Night shoots. Wow, there was Kurt Hennig, Conan. Who else was in there? Perry Saturn. Wow, Saturn hadn't gone to the WWE yet. Kurt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect. They were on their like Master P No Limit Soldier multicolored camouflage kick then. We saw Rey Mysterio wearing no mask and camouflage overalls. Now Conan's in here in a contrasting color camouflage. The full getup. But if you don't know, WCW had a deal with Universal Studios Florida, I want to say, where they had a stage there where they would bring crowds in for shows and film their Saturday night television. And it was a nice small arena, and they could get a fresh crowd every hour. So they could just bank shows, and it looked very similar to this. Like, this is way too small to be a Nitro. Nitros would be in like basketball arenas and shit. So they kind of hint at the stuff, them all being pals, and the ending being choreographed, and the strings being pulled by executives behind the scene. They don't even really hint at it. He told them what the finish was going to be back there. So I think maybe that's what a lot of people didn't like about it. Is that they felt like it was giving away secrets of the business. I don't remember what year it was that Vince came out and said that wrestling wasn't a sport, that it was entertainment, so that they could stop paying the athletic commissions. Because up until that point, they had to pay the athletic commissions for sanctioning because they were posing as or masquerading as a legitimate sport. So I think the athletic commissions were doing drug tests and shit. I don't know how all that worked, but it's kind of crazy that they went through that charade. Like, there used to be extensive rules that you would have to know as far as who you could interact with, I can't be seen talking to him. We can't ride on the same flight because if a fan sees and we're supposed to be enemies, we're really like, you had to really live the business. Now's the double cross, which actually does happen and has happened in wrestling. Somebody's not willing to cooperate. There's a contract dispute. The famous one is the Montreal screw job, where Vince McMahon came down and they said that Bret Hart tapped when he didn't and robbed him of his title. This is a bit more vicious fashion, where Diamond Dallas Page is actually beating the shit out of him instead of going along with the choreography, and because he's just playing a character and he's not actually a badass, he can't do anything about it. Well, he can land a couple shots, I suppose. Kick his leathery ass. He is kind of leathery, but he was pretty old by that point. He's like 44 or something there. Shout out to DDP Yoga. It's kind of an amazing story he's got. He started wrestling really late in life. Now he's got this DDP Yoga kick. Bigger than ever. Oh! That long shot they had, or the wide shot, the stuntman hit the table with his legs and it looked like his back landed square on the ground. Didn't look like he got the trajectory right on that one. Didn't stick the landing. Normally, like a giant person would have this move. This double axe handle. Oh, he didn't even get to pull it off. Wrestling in all that gear, that fake chainmail and that big chest plate. Be sweaty as a motherfucker. Oh, that was a legit low blow. Frequently used in choreographed moves as well, or called moves. A lot of times the major spots are choreographed, but not the entire match. The match is called by the heel. Excuse me. Ooh, jackknife powerbomb. Bam Bam Bigelow, and DDP. Who else do we have? Is that Prince Iakea? Holy shit, I forgot about him. Oh no, it's the double cross. It looks like we're gonna have a rumble. And instead it's a convergence. Oh no! What are you guys doing? I hate you all, you're ruining my life. What's funny is they believe it's real, and in this circumstance, in the movie, it kind of is real. All the shit that's happening to this guy is actually real in this moment. It's just the whole lore and the aura and the myth that they believe isn't what's true. This isn't even a pay-per-view. That's so true. You would be watching Monday Night Raw or Monday Nitro, and you'd be like, there's no way that the champion's gonna lose. This isn't even a pay-per-view. But Nitro actually became famous and somewhat infamous for giving away pay-per-view moments and pay-per-view finishes on free TV on Nitro in an attempt to try to win the ratings war against WWE. And in the long term, for their business model, they ended up stepping on their own dicks. They didn't have the pay-per-view audience, and they didn't have the merchandising. They just didn't do it the right way. Spent too much money, guaranteed contracts, the whole nine. Probably the most famous example I can think of is Bill Goldberg versus Hollywood Hogan for the WCW World Championship. They announced that like 10 days, 4 days ahead of time. Almost no advertising. And had it on free TV in the Superdome, or in the Georgia Dome. That's something that you could have built up to for months. You could have had that one rivalry. You could have gone probably 3 months and maybe even 3 pay-per-views worth of head-to-head matchups before you finally have that title switch hands. You can have them get fucked several times. You build it up, and you escalate the circumstances, and then finally you have your payoff. But they just, like 4 days out, Goldberg's gonna wrestle Hogan, and you knew based off the tear that Goldberg was on that there was no way he was gonna lose to Hogan in that match. The trajectory for him was always the top. So as soon as that was announced, you knew that he was gonna win. Even though I can't say it was 100% certain, because at that point the NWO was just almost becoming boring by the way that they were continuing to fuck everybody over and win all the belts all the time. It was becoming stale. The same way the good guy winning all the time becomes stale, when they had the bad guy start to win every time, it became equally stale. And so it was just the right time. They just needed to milk it a little bit more. And then, of course, the fucking Goldberg losing to Kevin Nash the way he did, and then Nash not holding the strap for any meaningful time. WCW made a lot of crucial mistakes. So I've been, sorry, on a tangent. These guys are actually crying because of what happened to their favorite wrestler on their way home, and they just crashed their septic truck. Running with the devil. Sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. I'm pretty sure they get a ride with some nuns and listen to Running with the Devil.
Damn it, Jim. We're firemen, not janitors. We sure saw good things.
Is now when they have their change of heart and decide to go seek him out, because they were on their way home before. Oh my God, Rose McGowan's in this movie. Yes! Yes! It smells like a shit. 1-800 how's my driving? You drive like a fucking cock knocker, that's how. Oh my God, bro. It's a truck full of toilet paper. You know that's happened at least once in real life. Has to have. See, it's just goofy. How can you hate it? I guess it's just setting your intent. If you come into this trying to take it too seriously, you will be disappointed. But if you just don't expect anything, and watch this goofy-ass trip these guys go on, I like it. And I get to nerd out on my nostalgic wrestling, which is why I would think it would be more popular for other people, too. Even if you were a bigger fan of WWE or whatever, a lot of these wrestlers came from there in the old school days. That's also something WCW became famous for, is they really didn't make that many homegrown stars. A lot of them were just recycled stars or washouts from the WWE, or guys that they paid a shit ton of money to come over and then mishandled. The only two that they really home grew that I can think of are DDP and Goldberg. But the ones that they paid to come over, they paid Bret Hart a shitload of money and then ran his career into the ground, totally misused him. They did that with a bunch of guys. And I think it was almost strategic. Like, we can get him over here and keep him on the bench, and that's better than him being over there competing against us. Because professional wrestling is heavily based upon perception and psychology. And so fans have to be kept aware of you. You have to constantly remind them that you're on the upper echelon, that you deserve this spot. You have to be used in the right ways that don't compromise you, make you look like a dickhead, or depending on which way you're trying to play it, heel or face. And they signed Bret coming off the Montreal screw job and then just did nothing with him. Just totally didn't know what to do with him. Didn't put the strap on him that I can remember, maybe. Not for a meaningful period of time. It's more memorable that they let fucking David Arquette wear it. That was the kind of things that WCW lended itself to. They would color outside the lines more. And I think they didn't know what they were doing, honestly. I don't think they had the writing and the right direction and sense of where they wanted to get to. They were just trying gimmicky shit. I know that now, current day, David Arquette's gotten himself in tremendous shape, and he's actually doing wrestling. But it was pretty offensive to fans for him to walk in and win the WCW World Championship back in 2000 and actually try to carry it like as legitimate. A lot of people in the business were upset about that, and I understand their gripes. We're going to be singing Running with the Devil here in a second.
Hey, you guys know any Van Halen?
You don't know Van Halen? How about Van Hagar? Dun, dun, dun. The devil. I live my life like there's no tomorrow. All I had to steal. At least I don't have to beg or borrow. Guess I'm living at a pace that kills. Sorry, I got the fucking timing of that all wrong because she was not singing with the appropriate timing. And I was trying to stay with the proper one, but I was listening to her and it was fucking me up. My cadence was way off. I wonder how many times this has actually happened where wrestling fans got so caught up in the bullshit that they actually thought they were going to go save the day legitimately for these wrestlers. Heels used to get the crowd. Look at that Surge can on top of that case. Oh my God. I fucking loved Surge. There's a Surge poster up there too. When Surge came out, it was 99 cents for a 6-pack at the grocery store. I actually, at the mini mart too, I rode my bike to the mini mart by my grandparents' house, the Shermanator. And I was going to buy a bottle of soda, and a bottle was like $1.19, and a 6-pack of cans was 99 cents. I was like, hell yeah, motherfucker. 99 cents it is. Wow. Except for there with tax, it's $1.07.
Down with King, huh? Big Jimmy King fan? King is king. Bullshit with that. Makes me want to puke. Well, my dad says puking's for pussies.
My dad says puking's for pussies. I puke all the time. I'm not a pussy. I'm not a player. I throw up a lot.
I heard you lived in a castle. I never seen it though. I could probably find it.
I've never really met people over the age like 12 who publicly discuss pro wrestling like this. Even back then, it was always kind of like a guilty pleasure, like a hidden thing. Everybody's kind of embarrassed to like pro wrestling. Even in the golden age, I don't remember people talking about it really. Millions and millions of people were watching it every Monday night, and hardly anybody was talking about it. At least where I was from. Look at that Apple computer, holy shit. Y2K. He's listening to Britney Spears on a Walkman. Oh, God. It's like visiting my childhood. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, the veil is about to be removed. They're about to understand what this life really be like. David Arquette's outfit's so specific to that era. That kind of thermal shirt with the button-up short sleeve shirt over the top. He's got like really long shorts on with combat boots that aren't tied. He owes me all the money for Junior's dental work. You want to? Oh my God, why would he say fantastic? That's gnarly.
Ma'am, could you tell me maybe who his associates are?
Yeah, they're all scumbags. You can try Louise.
She's got on green jeans.
Louise is...
A whore. She's a whore.
I wonder if they's Prada. Always comes back to horse. It always does, my man.
Tell me of child support, alimony, and massive dental bills. Tell him I hope his diddly turns black coals and pepper.
You never want to meet your heroes. Or at least they say. I guess it also doesn't show professional wrestlers in the best light. Like, they're trying to make them look like they're all this machismo and panache on TV, but they're actually hillbilly pieces of shit. A lot of people get their feelings hurt about this, but I think that they're just too sensitive.
Illegitimate, 2 wives, and has filed for bankruptcy 3 times.
This doesn't make any sense. Jimmy King wouldn't do that kind of stuff. It's a conspiracy. All right? Too easy Sinclair. He set up King.
The lines are blurred. They don't understand where the TV show ends and real life begins. Wasted his entire... Yeah, that's funny. That's how my dad would have felt. There was a point in time where I thought that maybe I wanted to be a wrestler. And I could have been on TV and a millionaire, and I don't think my dad would have been proud of me for that. He just doesn't respect professional wrestling.
Very hard in high school. And after
Which is weird, because he, like, loves Fast and the Furious movies and Rocky.
And he supported you while he held 2 jobs.
Scary movies. It's all fake. I mean, you only watch documentaries? I don't know. I came to the realization, thank God, that I was just way too small. I was 5'9", 155 pounds. I would get killed. Excuse me. And I'm thankful that I didn't ever try to do it because of the fucking concussions. There's a lot of stuff I'm glad I never did because of brain trauma. I'm glad I never tried to play football when I was a kid. I'm glad I never actually entered, like, I spent a good, 8 years of my life wishing that I'd got into MMA, into actual professional fighting, or at least training and starting the process. And now that I'm 31, I'm like, I'm kind of glad that I didn't sacrifice all those brain cells to maybe peter out. Like, I didn't have a background in it. I would have been starting from scratch. The likelihood that I would have been balling like Conor McGregor GSP style is very low. I probably would have been broke and punch drunk. And for those same reasons, maybe even more so, I'm glad I didn't try pro wrestling. Because those motherfuckers are taking a beating day in, day out. He's sleeping in a motorhome wearing a wig and a dress. He's got drug dealers coming to drop off pills. What are you doing? Oh. All this weird social stuff going on right now. The other day my son did that. He said, why is that person dressed like a girl? And I didn't know, like, we've never sat down and defined for him, this is what a boy dresses like, this is what a girl dresses like, or anything. Like, we've never tried to input anything in there or download any of our neuroses into him. He just came up with that, and I'm left at the, like, I don't know exactly how to skirt around this issue, how to explain it. Like, I don't know what to say without seeming like I'm feeding him some kind of fucking, like, it's a weird spot. Because I don't want him going to school and saying, Daddy said such and such. And the school's like, you're promoting hate. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't do anything. He brought it up. He's just observing trends.
No, this isn't you. You're our king.
He hasn't really asked me yet, like,
We understand you're hiding out.
he's starting to notice, like, that some people have darker skin than others. Like, when he's trying to describe, like, when he sees two people on TV, he'll be like the darker one. But he hasn't yet asked me why anybody is darker than, and I don't know how to really explain, like, we're supposed to be promoting this thing of equality. He's noticing differences that aren't necessarily bad, they're just differences. Anyway, we'll get back to the movie. I didn't mean to start turning this into something serious. The fuck am I thinking about? So their hero, this guy that they look at as a wrestling god, is now sitting in front of them in a bathrobe, a dress, and a wig.
We met your wife.
And he's still trying to build his own legend, despite the fact they know that it's false.
And your son's not in a wheelchair. Your parents aren't dead anymore. Good Lord. I am blessed. Praise him in all his mercy.
Indeed.
Get off. 5 minutes are up. Get out.
I've said that to people before.
I said get out. Wait.
I am blessed. Praise him in all his mercy.
Beer run, right? We want a beer run for you.
Beer? Beer. Give me 2 6s. Why not just say a 12-pack? A half rack. And that I will rule you.
I will rule you.
The hero worship is just off the chain. There's no way he ever could have lived up to what they believe because they think that he's a TV character. They think he's beyond reproach. They don't think he's human. They think he's some kind of icon, some god.
How are we gonna get back to Lux? What do you mean? Knock, knock. Who's that? Drunk Jimmy King in a dress. Okay, we're out of here. Wait, no, John. Leave this now more than ever.
I might hear somebody fucking about on the other side of my fence.
Two nice gentlemen figured out that I ain't the fella you came to see. It's been a pleasure setting with you. Thank you for getting me.
My pit bull's investigating.
Shut the door on your way out.
I had totally forgotten that that firework went off. Might be somebody camped out over there. For people who are like, how the fuck is somebody hanging out on the other side of his fence? There's a school over there. Of course, it's summertime, school's out. It's just a big empty field. There's a baseball field on the other side of my fence.
You all know it's just a show, right? Best show in the world.
And the ground of my backyard is about 4 feet, 5 feet above the ground on the other side of the fence. So it's this tiered kind of plateau. And then my deck is several feet above that. So I can kind of look over the fence into the baseball diamond.
There never was no king. The king of fake creation. Okay? I ain't even a have-been.
He is shattering their universe right now.
Stupid. Now get the hell out of my house. I'm done with you.
He just told them the Easter Bunny's fake. Santa Claus isn't real.
Come on.
There's no elves. Christmas isn't coming this year. Bacon comes from pigs. Glue comes from horses. He just broke it down for them. They got woke.
You know what I don't get? How can you be phony if we believe you?
Aww. He does have a responsibility.
We need you to rise above this and take
Those people are relying on you for their own confidence.
That's what we're talking about. We'll get you as many swings as you want. Oh, please.
He is a piece of shit, though.
Broken back. You're paralyzed. You
The movie The Wrestler is way better than this, but that's not funny.
What'd you do? 2 weeks you came back and you rolled out?
He broke 6 bones in your neck with a bat and you came back in 2 weeks.
What's the matter with you? Come on!
They're gonna start whooping his ass to revive him. I think it works, actually. Is my dog gonna come in? Here come the hot stepper, turn her up. I'm the lyrical gangster, turn her up. I guess I'll wait, because I'm not gonna stand here by the door. Crown for king. That shitty carpet. Wakey wakey, hands off Snakey. He's all dressed up. Look at that disgusting shirt.
Guess what?
Pot belly.
Taking you up on your offer to get one good swing at Tyler Sinclair.
I still don't know, can't remember his name, but he's a great actor. I love damn near every role he's in. He just nails it. Should be given something that he can really sink his teeth into, a lead. And something, well, this is a lead, but this isn't a good test of or showing of his acting range. He's capable of a lot more. But he's still perfect for this role too. He's good at that little smart ass shit. In Lake Placid, he's so funny. You bow and then you say go. Yeah, as in go fuck yourself. I've been to Raw a couple times. I've never been to a WCW Nitro. WCW had basically petered out by the time I moved to Portland, and when I moved in, or when I lived in the other place, it was not something that they would visit. We got like the B shows. The B Squad. House shows, that's what they're called. I'm so far out of the loop, I'm forgetting some of the lingo. My God. They just managed to bullshit their way into hauling a porta potty into the arena. Oh, the Nitro girls. Here we go. Get your KY out. Vaseline, whatever you like to use. We got some PG-13 semi-naked girls coming up. Oh, there's a thong. God damn. Pro wrestling was so much better when it had this sex element added into it. It's just what the market dictated. It's what the audience wanted. Oh, Rose McGowan. With dark hair, too. She's hot as fucking Scream, but I like this hair color on her better. Her tits look smaller in this movie. That's weird. She's the only one that wasn't actually a Nitro girl. I kind of like how they did that. They took authentic elements of WCW. Almost all the wrestlers are actual WCW wrestlers, and then they take an actor and make him a wrestler and work him in. And then all those other girls were real Nitro girls, and they take Rose McGowan and make her a Nitro girl. I don't know why Joey Pants is dressed up like a cowboy. Maybe they didn't want to make him too much like Eric Bischoff.
I just don't understand what all these kids think about.
Hey, let me tell you something about those kids, all right? They're morons.
This really is what people thought of Eric Bischoff, though. The audience hated him. They thought he was this snotty little pissant. And they thought that he was against all of their heroes. Oh, so funny. It's crazy to think about this is what's actually happening backstage when they're filming their little promos. There's all these people standing around them.
He doesn't know a wristlock from a wristwatch. As far as being in shape is concerned, that boy was so out of shape. When I was in the ring with him, it was like fighting a harpoon wham. Oh, that's sweet, man. What a bum.
Oh, goddamn, what a badass promo. This is really badass live TV. So that's the kind of shit that they used to do on purpose. These backstage fights and shit. Oh, God, so good. The hardcore title. Hardcore title would change hands like 17 times in a pay-per-view. It's kind of gimmicky, but fuck it. A little bit of gimmicky's not bad. That was a half-ass spear. I forgot he was gonna say that. I was gonna say he just made him a shithouse bitch. It's not a bad half-assed armbar. You're about to die, though. Bam Bam Bigelow's gonna murder you. He's like legit 300 pounds. Oh. At least the glass didn't break. Who the fuck's that fake wrestler in the back? Where's Glacier? And Mortis. And Renegade. Where's Brian Adams? I think Disco Inferno's in this. Look at those outfits. My God. There's Disco Inferno. See, that was a classic NWO type move. They would have something that looked like a match. The fans would be popping. They'd be like, yes! Hogan got beat. We got the title. And Bischoff would come in and go, well, actually, according to this, we are now stripped of the title. That didn't count. And Hogan's still the champion. And it worked for a long time, and then it got tired. It got to where you're like, every time there was a hope spot, you were like, 4 guys are going to run out from the back wearing NWO shirts, and this is just going to turn into a gang beating. They're going to start spray painting people for no reason. He was already kicked out. He was already never going to wrestle again. At least you got an opportunity. David Arquette's so awesome. I wonder if he's bringing that energy 24 hours a day, though. That could get exhausting. God damn, that plaid. And they, of course, know each other from Scream. They played with brother and sister. This just got weird. Even though you're obviously wearing a wig, I'll still hit. Is he wearing a Hi, My Name is Slim Shady shirt? He is. It's so fun being 13 years old again while I watch this movie. Can we see her do that now? I have your poster up in my room. It's a grown-ass 15-year-old. He's chugging a jug of Carlo Rossi. Oh. It's from Wyoming. Not shit to do there. No offense. Oh my God. I gotta get my wife one of them outfits. Post haste. Ooh, definitely need to get one of those. Let's party. Let's Mean Gene. Oh God. Mean Gene Okerlund, the legend. Jesus Christ, dude. He took the shots first? He swallowed eggs. It's a peculiar thing he's got going on because he's a professional wrestler and used to everything being choreographed and the outcomes being predetermined in his favor. So now he's actually going to have to rely on his ability, but in the same arena, and he doesn't have the merit, so he's just extremely nervous because it's not an actual athletic endeavor. But now for him it has turned into one. I'm reading way too deep into this.
I suck upon the page last night. It never happened again. Please, how can you
He's gonna sing him his song, isn't he? Please sing the song. He'll rule that ass. Sing him the song. Sing him the song.
baby? Or a new identity?
Come on.
A fast car, that's what I need. Jimmy King is not scared.
Jimmy King is the best wrestler. He's the bestler. Better than all the wrestler. We still haven't got there. I just can't wait. I was trying to think of the lyrics and it hit me. They're like the the Blues Brothers, but of wrestling. They are the Bruise Brothers. Singing the song. Come on, sing the song. Jimmy King is the best wrestler. He's the bestler. Better than all the wrestler.
He's got class. He's really fast. He'll rule that ass.
It's not finished. Is he gonna fall in another fucking sewer? Oh. Sal Mandini, wanna wrestle? I don't know, baby. I'm getting a little bit nervous. Hell no, baby. He's gonna break my ankles, baby. You just a boy. You ain't not talk like that.
I got 3 words for you, baby. 911.
That actually is 3 words and 3 numbers. Shit. When you say a number, you're saying the word, right? You're not saying the numeric symbol for the digit.
Sal Bandini. Wanna wrestle?
Fuck, what was the name of his character in Entourage? He had played a great character in Entourage. Also, Ed TV. He's his real dad. Spoilers.
It's getting tough because I don't diddly shit about real wrestling. Always worried, what, about TV time and endorsement, right?
So this guy's the old school. This is like classic Southern style wrestling where the guys had a pedigree and they knew how to chain stuff together and they could actually whoop your ass. A little bit of a Stu Hart feel with the Dungeon, Bret Hart's father.
Apply pressure until you hear cartilage snap or they crop in their pants. Come on, what's moving? You're working out.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, he's very similar in a lot of ways to the stories you hear about Stu Hart. That ring is tiny.
Show me one of your fancy moves.
That was another thing about WCW. The ring was smaller than in WWE. I keep wanting to say WWF. And I just did. No, got it out of my system.
Listen, one. Never repeat your weaknesses. Tightly. Old man, right spirit. Wrong old man to be missing. Tap out.
He's gonna shove your shoe up your own ass. Ooh, he kicked him right in the face. Solid.
In the face.
How hard you hit him, King? He's an old man. Gave him a little flair. No, thanks. Yeah?
Baby.
Yeah, you alright? You alright, baby?
Oh!
You know, kick me was right. Seeing if I was okay is wrong. Listen, one. Muscle man.
That t-shirt Scott Kahn's wearing looks really shitty. Looks cheap made. It's a Statue of Liberty doing like a... Looks like she's about to dunk a basketball, but she doesn't have one. Cold today, hot tamale. I think the dog's at the window finally, or at the door. Or not. Here she comes. Buenos nachos, señorita. ¿Qué pasa, güey? Woo! Oh god, that apartment's so 2000s.
Pretty good. Got him a coach, he's starting to listen. Thanks for waking up.
It's crazy how like a certain era in your life just programs into your brain, and no matter how cool shit gets in the future, you see the stuff from then and you're just like, oh my god, I love it.
He's old.
It doesn't even make sense to me.
He's a real pro. Kind of been training alongside him, so picking up some really awesome.
It's like whatever you think is cool or like looks good at a certain stage of your development just sticks.
Well, I got some news for you.
He's so stunted developmentally. Like he really is a 15-year-old. He thinks she wants to wrestle. He's gonna arm drag her.
That was a snapmare.
Was it a snapmare? It looked like an arm drag. He didn't grab her by the head. She means, why don't we fuck, you idiot? It's so cheesy. Foreign objects! What the fuck? When I was a kid and I watched the scene, I was like, dude, why are you being so dumb? Just close the show. Of course, I was 13 and so desperate to get laid. He actually starts punching her.
I am fine. Sean and I are helping Jimmy King reclaim his lost glory.
You have trouble wrestling your willy out of your shorts to take a leak. It's not that I have trouble.
This really sweet girl.
Just don't always find the tip.
Sorry about missing the state troopers exam. I'm sure there's another one coming up that you can force me to take.
He's a real disappointment to his father. Shit even comes out of the holes like that's what would happen. Like the jugs are pushed right up against the door.
Maybe we shouldn't do it. Bobby thinks that the guy
Bubby.
Bobby should keep her mouth shut. Okay? And I don't think we should tell it to Bobby like that. Guys, I'm telling you.
It's Goldberg in all of his glory.
All right? We need a posse of guys who...
He's wearing the same fucking shirt he wore the day before.
There he is. Come on.
God damn, look at her. Goldberg was a curious case. I liked him when he first burst onto the scene because they did a great job of creating this mystique. He felt like a UFC fighter. He seemed like a badass from a movie. He had this great build and look to him. He didn't speak. But over time, he was exposed for his lack of experience. He wasn't able to work long matches. It got very repetitive. They got him stuck on this undefeated storyline, which is horrible. You can't get out of it, but that was a way to mask his inexperience. And then once he'd finally been defeated, he was just kind of toiled a little bit, was misused, and then ultimately burned out. I was always more of a Stone Cold Steve Austin guy. They were both kind of at their peaks at around the same time in opposing organizations, obviously. The WCW just got stale. You could tell what was coming on their show week in and week out. Goldberg was going to kick everybody's ass. Ultimately, the NWO would come out on top. They had 500 members at that point, and it was just going to be that over and over and over and over again. It wasn't as unique on a nightly basis, or weekly basis, rather, as Raw was.
Sorry, guys. Fact is, I work alone.
Goldberg basically had to be carried in a lot of his matches by superior wrestlers who knew how to accentuate what little ability he had. Because the crowd was behind him. But he couldn't work. He didn't have the training. He hadn't been in it long enough. He was thrust into that rather prematurely. For the sake of short-term success, it made sense, but in the long run, here we got Perry Saturn and Sid Vicious trying to sneak up on Sal Bandini. So Rose McGowan's character is a secret plant by Joey Pants to give her intel on the comings and goings of the King and David Arquette and Scott Conn. So she's reported back to them that this is the trainer and they've come to kidnap him or put him in the hospital. I don't know what they've come to do. But he's fucking them up. Perry Saturn's so fucking weird looking. I don't know what it is. I can't even really describe what it is. Like something about his head or his face, or is it his skin? That's not the kind of chair shot I'm used to.
I'm so sorry, Woody.
It's not your fault, Sasha. Of course not. Mr. Bandini's a tough old man. He'll have to stay here for a while. He's got multiple injuries.
Is he gonna make it?
Does anyone have any questions? Can we see him? Sure. I'm gonna get him a Butterfinger.
I have to use the girls' room.
It reminds me of being like 7 years old at 7-Eleven. Can I have a Butterfinger too?
Titus, I'm wasting my time at the hospital.
Oh, the jig is up. Look at those old school Doritos.
I love you. Please, just get me out of here. Bandini guy's like 100 years old anyway.
Butterfinger wrapper hasn't really changed at all.
Sid Vicious over here. Morons. You did great. So how does head nitro go? Blows in my throat.
This guy's delivery on comedy, he's just so dry. So perfect.
Don't worry about
Old men are awesome. Oh, shit. Oh. Boiler's not burning quite as hot.
no one ever expects you to attack.
Put a fork at me. I'm done. No, I'm just playing with you.
That's what action is.
Well, we got about a half hour left. We can do this. We're in this together.
Don't run away. Attack them head on as they're coming to you full speed. Because that, my friend,
Is where the action is. That was like a weird kind of philosophy that you would see. Actually, I think I've seen it in multiple movies. Like maybe even a Jean-Claude Van Damme one, but attack someone's strengths. And that's not realistic. Generally. Unless it's totally unexpected and you have enough proficiency to carry it off. But you wouldn't go in, if you're a wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy, and try to primarily box with a boxer. You get your fucking head taken off.
What? the matter? What did Sal just say? Huh? It's about what's in here.
He said that his prostate was the size of a grapefruit. Crush my butterfinger, baby. He just threw away a butterfinger. What a waste. Ooh, and titties jiggle. God damn it, she's hot.
Make it. More than I can say for the two of us.
Yeah, leave her trifling ass there.
We're going back to basics. To find our heart.
Well, can I come?
No, because you don't have one.
'Cause you don't have it.
Boom, mic drop. Gonna be a cowboy, bitch. Oh. Because I wanna be a cowboy, baby. It's the Twin Towers. God damn it. I do that every time I see the Twin Towers. I think my dog's over here dreaming. She's sleeping on her bed and whining. Top left back in the sunshine shining. West Coast chilling with the news. I don't know the lyrics there. Riding at night 'cause I sleep all day. I can smell a pig from a mile away. With the top left back in the sunshine shining. Look at that disgusting shirt he has on. Ugh. Oh.
Bastard. Yeah. Let me help you up.
Just gonna kick him in the nuts again.
Oh, I just had to kick you in the dick again.
Dave!
Wasn't he getting paid? Like, what was he spending his money on? There's no way he was a champion for that long and undefeated and all this shit. In wrestling, drawing a crowd, selling merchandise, and he ain't got money.
Not exactly sure. I think that the king is
If this was legit, if he was legitimately the top guy in the company
Richard Petty right
in this era,
in my balls.
he'd have been making a couple $1 million a year.
Yeah, that's what the rat puked up. You mean cat, son? Don't you? Me, son. Frankie.
This kid's teeth are fucked up.
Too late.
He looks like he ate gummy bears made out of metal, and they all stuck to his teeth.
Son, I mean, how you doing? Good to see you. Eugenia. Eugenia, please.
Eugenia. What a name.
I'm sorry.
How could you look at a baby and go, Eugenia? Yep. Bless her heart. She looks like a Eugenia.
My ice in hell, you bastard.
I'd sue my parents if they named me Eugenia.
What are you gonna do about it?
Especially since I'm a boy.
Well, I'm gonna get that belt back. I'm gonna win $1 million. I'm gonna pay off all my debts.
See, he's gonna, if he wins this one match, he's gonna get $1 million. They got that kind of bread floating around that company.
By God, I'm gonna get that boy damn good dance.
That's what I need. Will you be my daddy? That sounded... I'm sorry.
Yo, John!
Looks kind of like where I'm from.
Come on, baby.
I thought that Wyoming was flat. Looked like they had cliffs and shit right there. I'm not much of what you'd call a world traveler. Or even an intercontinental traveler. Little bit of Canada, some Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California. That's basically it. No Nevada, no Colorado.
No excuses. Just get in the car.
How the fuck did he know he was there so quick? I got eyes everywhere, son. Scott Kahn's probably got a lot of laundry to do. He's been wearing the same few t-shirts the whole trip. I guess he doesn't have that much to do. He just needs to do it really bad. Is this movie sponsored by Ray-Bans? Because everybody's sunglasses have been Ray-Bans. See a little writing up in the corner?
Dream doesn't make it right or noble or whatever. Charlie Manson was following his dream. Joe Stalin, Michael Bolton. Yeah,
Michael Bolton. Back seats in cop cars don't have seat belts. He was wearing his seatbelt in the back of that cop car. Do they have seatbelts? I don't remember there being a seatbelt. I remember being uncomfortable as a motherfucker. It's like a bathtub back there. His development is just so arrested. Look at him in his 12-year-old's bedroom. Studying to be a police officer. My God. He's watching Cops and laughing. We used to do that too. Cops was huge. More so in like the mid-90s than in around 2000. But Cops was one of like the first reality shows.
Get rid of all my childish things.
It's time for you to steal your dad's cop car. I'm not giving up. I'm just taking a break. Bro, I put pomade in my hair just to come over here for this. The one dope thing about having curly hair is your bangs never really get in your face, right? You'd have to have super long hair. Oh, the tryouts. Is this where they get Miss Kitty or whatever the fuck her name is?
Exactly.
This is the scene where the guy sings Oklahoma, and I stole that, and to this day I still say it.
You guys don't really Siamese twins, are you?
Ooh. This guy. Come sweeping down the plains, and the waving wheat sure smells sweet. Like if I stub my toe or something to this day, I'll go, oh, Oklahoma.
Fireman Fred. I'm Fireman Fred.
La, 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 la.
This is good. Right? Next, this is the chewer.
What the hell is Boff?
This is Kitty.
This girl. God damn.
I'm afraid we really need to tech people who can help us in Vegas.
Some cute girls in this.
My friends, they call me Pretty Kitty.
All right, pretty kitty. You got a job. Holy shit. That would be distracting, that's for sure. This actually looks very similar to where I grew up
Ready for Vegas tomorrow?
at this point, because I kind of lived on the outskirts, more in the country.
Yeah, me too.
Best of luck in Vegas. We will be rooting for you. I said a hip hop, the hip hip hop, you don't stop a rockin' out a bang bang boogie. Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry?
Bunch of big city fella.
Ain't this the girl you've been waiting to bang out this whole time?
I'll see you, okay?
Bruh, if that's what you wanted, you could have been had it. You could have been steady getting laid for like years now. And instead, you were going like, you really fucked up, dude. I mean, you got it settled now, but you couldn't fuck with the blonde girl for like a couple weeks to see what that'd be like. I'm just playing. See, she's just ready to hop on it. He could have been steady getting laid. He opened it from the outside, but the windows rolled down and the... Anyway, I'm not going to get into the details of the layout of a cop car. We got 24 minutes left. I'm going to Fumar. Wonder if he dyes his hair, because his chest hair is white as Santa Claus's. And he's got a lot of it. God damn. So glad I'm not a hairy guy. Seems like it would be annoying. And I don't think girls like it. Fucking look like a bathroom mat. Look like you're wearing a bearskin rug around. Did you say bearskin or bearskin? I feel like you're saying the same thing twice. She's gonna be getting out wearing the vintage WCW NWO comforter. Yes! It's got a bicycle! One thing you need to know about me, baby, is that I got a bicycle. You got a bicycle! There was a match that Dusty Rhodes was calling way back in WCW, and a wrestler came out with a bicycle to use as a weapon, and he started yelling, "He's got a bicycle!" And it was one of the most hilarious moments that I've ever seen in wrestling. Damn, they're pulling this shit at the MGM Grand. What? Money. Damn. Baby, I got your money. Hey. Today, baby, I got your money, don't you worry. Say, baby, I got your money. Oh. Here's Brandon Lee reincarnate. The Crow Part 6. I'm just playing with you. He definitely stole his look from The Crow, though, right? This is Sting. And Sting is a weird story because he was a lifer with WCW, and he seemed like they were preparing him for this breakthrough to carry the company. Like they were keeping him on the edges and they were going to slowly work him in. And it just never really happened. They never really handed him that mantle and let Sting carry it for a long period of time. At least not until, like, the death throes. Back in the heat of the Goldberg NWO, all that shit, they really could have capitalized on Sting more. I loved it when he joined the Wolfpack, though. The Wolfpack was the only part of the NWO I really ever got behind. Fucking WCW versus NWO Revenge for Nintendo 64. I spent weeks of my life playing that, and I'm talking about cumulative hours. Like, after school, all night for months and months. Days off, summer, I loved that fucking game. It was a weird game because you didn't need a memory card, but it would still save certain stuff. Like, if you went on one of the quote championship runs, which I think was like 10 matches in a row, and you won the title, it would save whoever your champion was. And then when you used them in the future, they would have the belts. I just thought stuff like that was cool. It was really low, low rent video game for nowadays standards. But back in my childhood, that was one of the most cherished video games I had. You could turn blood on, and you could pull baseball bats and trophies and chairs out of the crowd and hit people with it. Their faces would bust open. You could turn DQ and all that off, and you could basically beat people till they were unconscious. You could win by knockout. Like, you could set it so you only won by knockout. You do like 3 or 4 people on one and just beat the shit out of the Giant with Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrera and Lex Luger and whoever. You had Harlem Heat and fucking Bret Hart and the Outsiders and Hogan and Goldberg, Raven and Saturn. Fuck. Y'all gonna have to give me a minute so I can go jerk off and think about playing video games in 1997. This final battle is going to give us the another line that I've held on to for my entire life, which is, a diamond upside down is a pussy. I don't know why that stuck. It just kind of made sense to me. Like, if you look at the shape of a pussy, it kind of looks like a diamond upside down. It can't be a symmetrical diamond, maybe more like a rhombus. I don't know. You get my drift. But that led to me calling people who drive like shit diamonds. I don't know why. I really don't. I just, like, if somebody's going like 10 miles an hour under the speed limit on the freeway, I'll blast by them and just go, another fucking diamond. And then somebody will be like, what do you mean a diamond? And I'll go, diamond upside down is a pussy. It doesn't really make sense, but it does to me. Damn it, it's still real to me, damn it. I just want to thank you for everything you do and the sacrifice you make of your body. It's still real to me, damn it. My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. Now, this crazy cage assembly that they came up with here, I don't know that I ever actually saw this used in a real match. Like 3 fucking cages stacked on top of each other. It looks tremendous for like a visual spectacle standpoint. Would be very expensive to construct, I would think, because it would have to support weight at the upper levels. The King is ill-prepared to come in here and beat up DDP in a legit fight. Barking up the wrong tree. Oh, and he's about to handcuff him. It is a pay-per-view. I gotta go take a piss real quick. I just saw a crazy bright shooting star or something. Like, it was fucking huge, though. Like, I'm trying to come up with a comparison. Like, if a regular star is the size of the head of a pin, this was like the size of a pencil eraser. Out of the corner of my eye while I was taking a piss, I just saw it streak out of the sky and disappear. I wonder if that was like an asteroid burning up in the atmosphere or something. That was trippy. Based off the trajectory, I don't think it was like a flying object or any of that nonsense. It just looked like something streaking across the sky and burning up, and then it disappeared as quick as it arrived. They went hard with the Kid Rock in this movie. He found his calling. He's gonna be the police officer wrestler. He's the new big boss man. Slim fit version. Diggy, diggy, diggy. That was Billy Kidman I saw. Booker T's in there. He said the boogie set up, jump the boogie. And all the cops are in there watching it. See, this is what I would like to hope would happen if my dad actually saw me on TV. That he would have a turn and start rooting for me instead of just being like, that's gay shit. Bonsai! Bonsai! That's my... Yep, see, he's suddenly proud of him. This cage is so dope. I wonder what it's called. What term I would use for like triple cage or stacked cage, layered cage, cage wedding cake. Why do her boobs look so much smaller in this than in Scream? Did she have a reduction or something? It's like noticeable. She's gonna get knocked the fuck out with this Money in the Bank. They did a good job of working in the sexiness without showing any nudity and having to sacrifice their PG-13 rating. I didn't check, but I'm assuming it's PG-13, just based off what I've seen so far. I don't think there's been any fucks, no nudity, limited blood, or... I mean, it's pretty violent. He's put a noose around his fucking neck. Wrestling's so crazy like that. They do shit that you would never do in a fight, like sadistic stuff. Putting a fucking noose around somebody's neck, hitting them in the head with a sledgehammer. Like, stuff you would do if you wanted to murder somebody. Throwing people off the top of Hell in the Cell. I will rule you. Oh shit. Sting is waiting in the rafters, is he not? Is it rafter? Is that what it's called? A rafter? I was totally confident that that was the name until I said it out loud just now. Maybe it's the weed. You know what a weird word is? Road. Road. Road.
Jimmy King's all right by me. You love Jimmy King. I love Jimmy King. I'm afraid to say that we love other men. I love you.
do me. That would be kind of how I would have been. Clear up into my 20s. I went through a fucking John Cena worship phase. This was before they went hard on the PG and the Fruity Loops colors and stuff. When he was like the rapper era, and just afterwards when he's like doing the salute, like WrestleMania 23-ish. I liked Mr. Kennedy. Of course, Brock Lesnar. Who can't like Brock Lesnar? Suplex City, bitch. Bang! Bang! Still crazy to me that, like, these wrestlers got to be in a movie like this. Like an actual, real movie. Even if it is cheesy as fuck. I just wonder if it would have played better if it would have been WWF wrestlers. But I don't think Vince would have ever allowed it. It is compromising too much about the business and making it too spectacle-y. Because they make their movies now, but they don't ever make them about wrestling, really. Except for maybe Fighting with My Family, I guess. But we're clear into the kayfabe's basically blown now. There's not the aura or the mystery around pro wrestling like there used to be. You have all these podcasts and shoot interviews. So it's a different environment than it was back then. I don't think Vince would have done something like this. And it's something that WCW would have done in a desperate attempt to try to gain more market share, is what it seems like to me. Because they were on their decline by this point. If they had done it a few years earlier, and we had like Hogan in this, and Hall and Nash, and it could have been fucking ridiculously good. And I think more people would have come out to see it. There's actually a lot of major players of WCW that aren't in here. The Four Horsemen, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, Hogan, the NWO, Outsiders, Lex Luger. I think the Giant had already left. I think he was in WrestleMania 2000. Booker T was still there. They didn't show his brother, but he never really got over the same way. As a tag team, they were over, but in singles competition, Stevie Ray didn't make it the same way Booker T did. Oh, prime Gene Okerlund. I don't know if you could say prime. He'd been around for so long. You'd probably go with the 80s for his prime. Billy Kidman in the wife beater and jean shorts. So many people dressed like that back then. Beautiful women. He won the match and the $1 million. He's going to be able to get his son a dentist even though he stabbed him in the back in this main event. Oh, look at how happy he is. What's crazy is that Scott Kahn is the one that has the build on him and looks like he could pull off wrestling. But he's going to be the manager. He gets back. That girl's going to want him to put a ring on it. She's going to want a baby inside her. She's going to want to make a perfume out of his sweat. Now they're going to be sitting on that same stoop talking to those same kids. Here comes the dickhead fly. I love how Goldberg's in his wrestling gear and not in street clothes. Like they would just go to a fucking mini mart. In tights and boots and gloves and knee pads. Listen to the voice he pulls out. Oh my god, David Arquette's so perfect for this. Oh. Get out of my dreams. Get into my car. It's a custom Hummer truck with a hot tub in the back. Myrtle! Myrtle! Mary Jane! The fuck are you barking at? It's goddamn 1:30 in the morning.
There's a lot of glare coming off of that dome of yours, Angus Brett. There's a lot of glare coming off of that dome of yours, booger face. I know, it smells like you poured it right from your butt. Smells like you poured it right from your butt.
Quite a throw. Hey,
These outtakes are great.
Come on, this is nothing!
hey, remember when Macho Man threw you off the rail?
Come on, this is nothing!
You remember when Macho Man threw you off the rail and you landed on the ladder? No, that's bad. Say it again. One more time.
Come on, this is nothing!
Yay!
And you broke 5 ribs and dislocated your shoulder. But you broke. Came back to whip on 3.
I can't stop.
Oh, that was a pretty solid outtake reel. I'm not gonna lie. Oh. So, that was Ready to Rumble from 2000 in all its glory, and that stroll down memory lane, absorbing all the nostalgia. It would have been way better if it was just a few years earlier. It would have really been in my wheelhouse, but nonetheless, I was able to get a lot from it, and that was fun for me. And it's not horrible, but I like Biodome. I like weird shit, so maybe I'm not the best judge, but there's probably some people in my camp, I'd like to think. Check out the Facebook page, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or just Google Avarice Podcast if you want to find my shit. Like, subscribe, comment, all that. Until the next time, this is Devin signing off and saying, be easy.